Live from the Panera Studios, it's the Reading with Robin show, brought to you each week by my friends at Panera Bread, where it's food as it should be. 100% of their food is 100% clean. I like to start the day at Panera with a steaming mug of coffee. There's nothing like that first cup. I see all the regulars. Your neighborhood Panera, it's just like Cheers. Panera is the perfect place for a business meeting, book club, or to meet up with friends over a delicious lunch. Try one of their sandwiches, soups, or salads, or you pick two. There's something for everyone at Panera. And now, enjoy the show. It's pub day for Motherhood is a Bitch, and I'm thrilled to be chatting with Lyss Stern, author and friend of our mutual friend, Jill Kargman. I read about this book on Facebook, and I said to Jill, I must get in touch with Lyss because this looks like so much fun, and anything Jill's talking about, I don't want to miss out on. Lyss wears many hats. She's the Mommy Whisperer, a columnist, and CEO of DivaMoms.com, mompreneur. Right? Yeah. Never can say that right. She created Divalicious Moms as a way to get her groove back after giving birth to her first child and to help other mothers find themselves post-baby, which is something we all really love to talk about and such an important topic. Today, Diva Moms is the premier network and event company for New York area's well-heeled moms. She lives in the city with her husband, 3 children, and a dog, and I am thrilled to have you on Reading with Robin. Welcome, Lyss.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
I love children, but what kind of dog do you have?
We have a Coton de Juliet. His name is Jedi. He's 4 years old, and he's amazing.
I know. I love children. I truly do, and I love what you write to them and dedicate the book. But I see dog, and I just my mind just goes dog. I got to know about the dog.
The dog is like the coolest disposition. He's so laid back and chill. I guess within my crazy household, he has to be. So,
do you think they adapt? They do adapt. They sort of find the family they're meant to.
I do, and I think they also, once they get to that family, I mean, kind of as an infant, obviously, they learn. I think they're very smart. These dogs.
Yes, they are.
Very quickly, the ins and outs of the family, the mother, the father, the children, the grandparents. They know who to go to, who to run away from, who to hide from, right?
They are. They're so smart. And I know our dog has a fabulous sense of humor, and we know that he found the right family when we learned how funny of a dog he is. So I love that. And, yeah, they do. They adapt, and he's a Cardigan Welsh Corgi, and his name is Ari, yes, and he's 15, and we still will notice every little spot in the house he's in, what he's doing that's different, and what's going on with him. We're just incredibly obsessed with him. There's nobody like a dog in a family. So it's pub day. The book is out. Talk about what that was like, just holding it for the first time, and also this amazing foreword by your friend Jill Kargman.
Sure. So I guess when the book arrived for the first time and I saw the glossy cover, and which also was a labor of love. We work with our friend Bonnie Marcus, who's an illustrator, who's amazing, and she's a mom of also 3 children, and she really got what we were trying to portray on the cover. So when I got it and it was in my hands, I just took a deep breath, like a sigh, and just smiled from ear to ear. It's one thing, when you write the book, and you're going back and forth and the edits and all that good stuff. But when you actually physically get that book in your hands and not just the galley, the actual product, the end result, it's like the best feeling. And I was honored and thrilled to have Jill Kargman write the foreword for us. Because
I can only imagine. And the subtitle, 10 Steps to Regaining Your Sanity, Sexiness, and Inner Diva. And this gorgeous illustration absolutely exemplifies all of it. It's hilarious. And so you pick up this book and you think, this is going to be fun, smart, and it's going to be a book I'm going to want to share with my friends. This is like a great gift book, buy it for everybody. And you have amazing quotes all over the back of it. And Jill says, hilarious writing, which will make you laugh out loud, but more importantly, will make you feel understood. Don't listen to the mommy noise. Follow your gut. Yeah. Do the best you can, and listen to Lyss. Yes. Clever friend that she is.
Yes, she is. And I think the book is going to resonate with so many moms out there because it is real. This motherhood is hard. Not every day it's unicorns, rainbows, and cotton candy. And, each and every day, I always say, is a new adventure, and you never know what you're going to get. But I think at the end of the day, what's so great about this book is that, moms need to realize that we are in this together. We are not alone. And you have a community and a community of moms out there that are here for each other, and that sometimes, people don't want to talk about what's really going on in their lives. But, at the end of the day, you have friends, and you should share, and you should use them to be able to bounce ideas off of them and tell them what a day you're having, and how to actually sometimes to help improve that day. And that's okay to have those conversations. So hopefully this book will spark that within moms, and they'll realize that, hey, I can go talk to this mom, or I don't want to talk to this mom. But
right, the ones you want to be with and the ones you want to stay away from. And I think that there are so many lessons in reading this book, Motherhood is a Bitch, out today by Lyss, that it just it's the overarching thing of knowing who your tribe is, who you can trust, who you can really be honest with. Because let's face it, who has time for empty conversations and for just making life appear as it does on Facebook, and Instagram, because that's not really ultimately helpful, and it's really a disservice to other moms who think, wow, mine is not looking like this, and
100%.
why, right?
Yes, and I feel like, today especially, too, with social media and Instagram, like so many moms every day, they post their perfect organic meals that they feed their kids, and they're perfect every minute of the day, and everything. And the reality of it is, like, I give my kids sugary cereal, and you know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah, there's a prize in the middle of that sometimes even.
I mean, sometimes it's okay. It's not everything doesn't have to look and be a certain way. And I think that we all need to take a step back. And like I was saying the other day, we need to, some of us, I think more than most, should take a step back, and we should get off the grid, and we should get off social media and just spend more time actually with our family, enjoying that moment. I know, like, my kids have consciously said to me, like, especially my older son, Mom, when you're at my baseball game, I want you off the phone. Right. I don't want you taking pictures of me. I don't want you videotaping me. I want you watching me. So
wow,
I make a conscious effort when I'm on the field to put my phone away in my bag for 2 hours. And
that's a really enlightened thing to hear from. Now, how old is he?
He's 13.
Yeah, that's enlightened, because what you don't want to hear one day is, Mom, where were all the pictures? I thought you were at my game. Like, you can't,
right.
Then there's the old, you can't win. But really, that sense of balance is something that we all talk about, and many of us strive for. But there's that, you see everybody else doing it, and so there's that mob mentality of, it would be nice sort of to have, somebody do it and take turns and maybe share, because you really don't see the experience is different. I was at a concert recently with my daughter. We were at Green Day. It was amazing. And Billy Joe Armstrong from the stage actually said, is everyone taking home movies? Can you put the cameras away and just sort of be here with me? And some people did for a moment, and then everyone was like, kind of, screw it, I'm taking a picture of Green Day. But the point was sort of well taken, and we all fall into it. It becomes, this keeping up kind of thing. And we've had that through the generations, but it does seem that it is more ramped up, even more so. Just continues to get nutty.
And even as a parent, too, with a tween and tweens, like, having this conversation with our kids constantly about social media. In fact, the other night at my son's school, they showed a great movie called Screen Agers, all about teenagers and the screens and really how awful they are.
Yeah.
And I think that, these kids look also on Instagram and Snapchat, and they see what this one's doing and that one's doing. Why weren't they invited? And there's just so many conversations. So I also think, too, with social media, it's just important to have the conversation, not just with adults, obviously, but with our kids, and to make everybody really just take a step back and realize that not everything you see is the grass is always greener.
Well, and the truth is, too, there's like some bullying that goes on, and very intentional picture putting up and letting people know who was at something and who wasn't. And I think really what it always comes down to with our children and with our friends and keeping the communication open and honest is the more they sort of hear this, you hope it kind of sinks in, because who doesn't feel bad being left out of something? I mean, that just becomes, that's part of human nature. But I think the more they sort of hear and are able to chat with us, keeping the kids connected in that way, I think it really helps. It takes the sting out of it a little bit. And you have a section in here, and I'm on the phone with Lyss, and we're talking about her brand new book out today. It's called Motherhood is a Bitch You Can't Miss, with this gorgeously illustrated cover, 10 Steps to Regaining Your Sanity, Sexiness, and Inner Diva. I don't know which of those is the most important to me. I think at this stage of my life, I'm going to go with sanity. And you talk about different women and how they've survived, and you reference Jackie O, Jen Aniston, Jennifer Hudson, Gwen Stefani, all people who have had really public things come out about them and how they've had to handle that. So speak to that a little bit.
Sure. I just think it's important as women and as moms to realize that we need to take care of our sanity, and we need to take care of our mental wellness as well as our physical wellness. And especially when something happens in your life that could be traumatizing, it's very important to take a step back and to realize that you are allowed to have some alone time. You're allowed to have some downtime. You're allowed to go talk to a therapist. You're allowed to go talk to a friend. And a lot of times I feel that moms feel guilty, or they feel like they shouldn't take that time to go do that for themselves. But in reality, if your mind isn't healthy and you're not healthy mentally, then that's going to be a challenge. And I always say, and I really truly do believe this, happy wife makes happy life, and happy mom makes happy children. And if mom isn't happy, or she's not feeling well, she's feeling down or depressed, or could have postpartum depression, whatever it may be, she needs to take a step back and get the proper help. And I really, truly think that moms need to realize that it's okay to ask for that help as well.
It really is, because I think that, like you say, everything starts with that, taking care of ourselves. And I remember that was advice I heard from my great-grandmother. I mean, that's how far it goes back. Times were different, but the advice is the same. And if we're not taking care of ourselves, we really can't be there for all the people who are so important to us and who are going to model what we're doing. And so then it perpetuates. So, and taking the guilt and the worry and the what ifs out of that. And then there's so much conversation around this right now, and adding this to the conversation. So if you're in a book club, what an awesome book to pick. You will have so much conversation. You could do this book for a year. You could take you could take the 10 steps plus add 2 more, and you can also find Lyss at Diva Moms on Twitter and at divamoms.com. And are you on Facebook? I mean, I know you're personally on Facebook. Is there a Facebook page?
Yes, there's a Divalicious Moms page on Facebook as well. Yeah,
okay.
and then Instagram, or Diva_moms.
I saw that. Okay, so they're all over the place, and it's a lot to keep up, but I think that people really do appreciate different platforms. So you sort of keep it going on all different things, and people can find you. Talk a little bit about how all of this started, because I always love that story of where this began.
Okay, so do you want the Diva Mom story or the book story? Which?
Let's start with the Diva Mom story, and then you can morph into the book.
Sure. So I started my business 13 years ago after my first son was born. My background is in communications. And to make a long story short, I had gone on, he was probably 4 months old, and I'd gone to a new mother's luncheon in New York City. And I realized at this luncheon that there had to be more for new moms here in New York City than just this one luncheon, where this woman got up in front of us and said, "Today you're going to learn how to breastfeed." And I swear to you, I looked around the room and I saw all these other new moms, and you could tell that everybody was just, I don't know, feeling isolated and alone and scared, and that's how I was feeling. And sure. I remember just leaving this luncheon and saying to myself, like, you need to do something. Like a light bulb went off in my head. So I remember going home, and that night my husband came home from work, and he said, "How's your day?" I said, "There's good news and there's bad news." He's like, "Let's start with the good news." I said, "The good news is that I'm starting my own business." He's like, "What?" And I said, "Yep, it's going to be start." And again, this is 13 years ago, so I had no idea what was, what was going to really happen. But I said, it's going to be an event planning company for moms, and I'm going to also start a blog, divamoms.com, Divalicious Moms. And anyway, he said, I don't even know what to do with this information. He's like, let me digest this. And I think he thought he'd go to bed and the next day it would be over. But when he woke up the next day, I was already, coming up with all these different ideas. And this is again before the internet was even the internet, really, 13 years ago, and people were blogging. And I set up I don't even know how, honestly, because people always ask me. I'm like, I wish I remember step by step, but I started my own blog, and little by little, I planned an event when I invited 6 of my friends, who then invited 6 of their friends. I call it Word of Mom, and we started this. And I started this business, and today we reach out to over 1 million influential moms in New York City, in the tri-state area, and really across the country, and now the world even. I mean, I get inquiries from moms in Dubai and London and Israel, Paris. So we're Divalicious Moms. We're Diva Moms.
I think that is so awesome. There's nothing like the spark of an idea and a husband who thinks it might be over the next morning. Because when you're a doer and you're a connector, the ideas just don't stop, and then you start to think, how can I do this differently? And to me, that is the most exciting time to put something together. And people will ask certainly how you started something, because they might have an idea to do something. And so it is sometimes hard to go back and think, how did I do this? I mean, 13 years ago, right, we weren't on Facebook.
There really was no social media.
No.
It didn't exist. There was no Facebook. There was no Instagram. I don't think there was no Twitter.
No, who remembers the time? It really, when the day focuses around that so much, but to have it reach that many people, and you think, wow, don't you sometimes think, wow, I really hit on something? People have really connected to this.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. We had an event last night for Ralph Lauren, and we launched their new spring wardrobe, which is just beautiful. And one of the moms that was one of my first moms that came to the event got on stage, and she said, I want to thank Lyss. I was one of her first moms 13 years ago coming to her event, and she gave me a life. She gave me this permission to be a mom, but also be this amazing woman that I was before I had a child. And it was just so nice to
hear. How
awesome
is that?
Yeah, really just touched people's lives, and I've helped connect people and made friendships for people. And I love that part of it. And even to this day, 13 years later, I still love to hear the reinforcement and the positive feedback from these moms, and to make them feel, again, like they're part of a community. And I always say, Diva Moms is an offline, online sorority for moms everywhere.
I think that's the real case, because as much as we are on social media, we are online, and everybody's sort of connected that way. I know from the events that I host, and you're tuned into Reading with Robin, and I'm chatting with Lyss Stern. We're talking about her brand new book, Motherhood is a Bitch, 10 Steps to Regaining Your Sanity, Sexiness, and Inner Diva. And as much as we're online, and that is all awesome, there's nothing like the in-person events, the connections, the getaways, all of this, because ultimately I was at a book club the other night. I think they barely discussed the book. And so there was just so much conversation about all of the things that are important to us. They did discuss the book. I'm being slightly cheeky, but it's really that idea of community and of exchanging of ideas and feeling validated, and the guilt thing just has to go away. And some of these women were talking about books that they've read that they didn't like, and I am always counseling people to put down books. Time is too short. I mean, you don't have to finish whatever everybody's finishing. I think that really doing things that make you feel happy. And if you're reading a book that you're not enjoying, I can't understand that.
I agree.
Right?
Yes. And you know what I always say, too, our time is so valuable. And especially as busy moms, we really don't have a lot of time. So when we do have the time, we want to do something, that either a great TV show that we're getting in, just getting lost in, whether it's a great book. But if you're in a book and you can't get into it, and everybody else loves it, that's okay. It's not for you. Put it down and start something else.
It's totally okay. And here's the other trick that I found, or the secret. They don't all love it. They see everybody posting on Facebook that everyone loves it,
right,
and they jump on. I'm going to call bullshit on a lot of that.
Yeah, There are a lot of books that I know that people have written, and I've read them, and people have loved them, and I think some of them are okay. Some of them, yes, I love, but I don't always jump on that bandwagon either. I'm very real and very honest with the books that I read, and even with my movies that I see. Listen, I just saw a great movie the other day, The Zookeeper.
I haven't seen it yet. Is it great?
Oh, it's amazing. And make a long story short, the critics though hated it, and my husband was like, "You sure you want to see it?" I said, "Absolutely," and I loved it.
Good.
I mean, I don't really care what the critics say. I know I have to go to see it or taste it or feel it myself.
Yes, I rarely listen to critics, nor do I read book reviews. And that was a wonderful book, so I'm glad to hear that. I will make time for that. The Zookeeper's Wife.
MTO, make your mommy time out and go see that movie. It's wonderful.
I know, and that's the thing, too. You want to speak to, and you are like the trusted girlfriend, because somebody will ask you, and they know that when you're giving an opinion, you really feel it, and, okay, I'm going to spend my time with this, and I'm going to say to Lyss, oh, my God, thank you, because who wants to waste time with a bad movie, book, or
anything?
Anything.
And you know, one thing about me, too, I'm an open book. So if I like you, and if I'm just saying, or I support something, I'm all for, I give it my 100%. So example, like my hairdresser, everybody always comes to me, who does your hair? I said, my hair guy. I can't even get an appointment anymore. But, you know, like my eyelashes done. I just give out information to everybody.
That's what I do, too. Yeah.
I believe in paying it forward. And let everybody have access to the best of the best, because people always sometimes say, oh, you shouldn't give that information out. That's just yours. No, absolutely not. You know,
those are the hoarders. I know. Those are the people who, when you say, what are you wearing? Oh, I don't know.
What do I wear? What are you wearing?
Yes.
Oh, I'm either wearing this to this to this, and go buy it. And I mean, that's probably to a fault. Part of my problem is that and that's why I had to become more of a bitch, but I would give you the shirt off my back if you asked for it. So,
kindred spirits here, Lyss. I know. I'm the same way. You can have it. You do it your way. People will ask, how do you do the radio show? How did you organize this event? How do you know, fine. Everybody's going to make it their own. And this book is described as Sex and the City meets Mommy and Me, which I love. And you have a quote here from Sarah Jessica Parker. I don't judge others. I say, if you feel good with what you're doing, let your freak flag fly. So, and that's in the chapter, Bring Sexy Back. So what are some quick tips for bringing the sexy back?
Well, it's very important to bring that sexy back. And just some of the quick tips are, I would start with cleaning out those granny panties. Clean out that drawer of the old underwear, the ones that you wore right after you had the baby. 3 years later, you still cannot be wearing those. I want you to go to a lingerie store, go to Victoria's Secrets, go to Kmart, go to Walmart, go anywhere you want. They all have a lingerie department, and go buy yourself some sexy underwear, thongs preferably, but whatever you feel works best for your body. Also, go invest in some lingerie. You know, every night when your husband comes home from work and the kids go to bed, do not put the sweatpants on. Yes, you can. 2 nights a week, of course. But you know what? Also try and spice it up. Put a cute bathrobe on. Put on a cute nightgown. Put on a cute little lingerie. Because you need to also initiate in the marriage as well. It can't just always be about him, and it can't just always be about you. It needs to be about both of you. And you both, not just him, not just you, but you both need to initiate and make effort and put effort forth. You know, also for bringing sexy back, I love a great playlist. Make some great music, light a scented candle, take a bubble bath. Make yourself feel good, whatever that may be. If you want to watch a sexy movie, if you want to, whatever it may be, but you need to do that for yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you.
And then, you know, it takes off from there. You feel better, you do better, you want to be more loving, and all of that's really important, because let's face it, with kids and a busy life, the marriage is so important, and that is something that you really want to honor, and it doesn't just happen. And so
I mean, I put it in the book. I put it out there. I mean, I'm married for 16 years, and our marriage, like every other marriage, except that everybody tells you their marriage is perfect, our marriage has, you know, it's had its ups and downs. It's a roller coaster.
Sure.
We have 3 kids. We lost 2 parents. You know,
life happens.
Life happens, and I think at the end of the day, I think the reason that my marriage does work is because we do put effort into it. And I make my husband realize, like, no, you can't. And I put my foot down. You can't just text me during the day. I want you to pick up the phone. I want you to say hello. You know, this marriage takes effort on both parts. We do need a diva date night once a week. I don't care if it's just going across the street and having a cup of coffee at the diner, you know, to talk about other things than just the children. Because what happens is, and we find this so many times with marriages, once the children come into, you know, play, it really a lot of times becomes all about the children. And you forget about who you were as a couple, and you cannot let that happen. And one thing about my husband and I, again, you know, we have our ups and downs, but he's my best friend, and we still do laugh together. So I think you could say after 16 years, if you're still laughing together, you know, hopefully you'll keep laughing till the end.
Well, I can say after almost 32 years, we're still laughing, and that is the key. That was the first thing that I found when I met my husband. I thought he was really funny, and that is such an important thing, and it can't be stated enough, because we know how crazy life is, and it's so easy to let certain things slide, but really none of it, relationships with our dear friends, with our children, with ourselves especially. And these are some of the things. It's a fun book, and it's a fun cover, and there's a lot of really important stuff in here, said to you like a girlfriend would tell you. You're a true girlfriend, somebody who really cares for you and has your back. And it's Motherhood is a Bitch, 10 Steps to Regaining Your Sanity, Sexiness, and Inner Diva. You can find Lyss Stern on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. And which is your favorite? If you could only do one, which one is like your favorite one to play around with?
I would say either Facebook or Instagram, those two.
Okay.
I'm not that great on Twitter. I try, but I thought, according to my 13-year-old, I'm a dinosaur, and I should just get off social media because I don't know what I'm doing anyway. But
13-year-olds can be oh so charming, can't they? Absolutely.
Right?
I know.
So
they will. They will share
yeah.
it. They will tell us it all and tell us all. And you can go to divamoms.com to find out more information, where you can find Lyss and check out all of the fun things that are going on. What a great Mother's Day gift.
The best Mother's Day gift.
Right?
For every mother out there. Yep. And for all your mother friends, and even for the grandmas, I feel like this is like the best gift to give somebody.
Absolutely. An expecting mother. I mean, just so they can get
mom,
it. Right?
Yeah, to packaging it. Everything.
Right. Big gift packages.
Gift packages. And this is I feel like, what a great Mother's Day gift.
It's such a great Mother's Day. And I love, because on the cover, too, you have this great sort of tote bag saying, beach hair, don't care. I think that's so fun, because really, I mean, there's just so much that goes into all of this. And we love our children. We want them to grow up to be people who can take care of themselves and know what they need. And really, there's nothing better than showing them that we're taking care of ourselves, and our relationships are important, and that they bring it forward for the next generation. And Jenny Hutt, another one of my very favorites, says Lyss represents every mom in her quest to do it all in a fabulous way. She's savvy, strong, smart, sexy, and confident. I'm a huge fan of Jenny and her show.
Me too. I love Jenny. She's a really good friend.
She is fabulous, and I can just, this is seems like such a Jenny book. So I'm excited. Before I let you go, because I have to ask, what have you read lately that you've loved that you haven't put down?
You know what? That's a great question. I honestly, I'm going to be very honest with you. The past few months, I've just been so immersed in this book that I have not picked up a book of my own. I mean, any other books? I'm trying to think.
It's the one question on Reading with Robin that can really throw people. But I can imagine, because you're really focused on this. Did you read The Assistants by Camille Perry?
No, should I be?
It's one of my favorites. It came out last year. It's coming out in paperback on the 2nd, and it's one of those smart, fun books. And I know you'll love it. I could give you a ton of books.
Yeah, if you could send me recommendations, that'd be great. I think I read, what was the last one I read? The Commonwealth? Does that sound right?
Oh, yeah, Ann Patchett's book came out last fall, yes.
Yeah, that's
okay,
cool.
good.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed it?
I did, very
Yes.
much so.
Okay, good. No, that's a good one. But I know
Yeah.
there's so many books, and when you're immersed in yours, there's that as well. And this one is Motherhood is a Bitch, 10 Steps to Regaining Your Sanity, Sexiness, and Inner Diva. It's out by Lyss Stern. Pick up a copy. Visit her website. Find her on Twitter, on Instagram. And I wish you all the best. And I'm very excited and so glad that Jill Cargman could bring us together.
Me
We love
too.
Jill. Yeah.
She's the best. And I thank you for having me on the show. And I hope all your listeners have a wonderful Mother's Day. And I hope you have fun reading this book. Have a lot of laughter and love. Well,
a lot of laughter and a lot of like, aha, yes, this makes sense.
Moments.
And and I really do encourage people to pick this for a book club pick, or bring it to the beach when you're sitting around with your girlfriends. There's a quiz in the beginning. Take the quiz, find out about your inner bitchy level, or what, I forget what that was.
Yes,
but
and also don't forget too, at the end of the book we give you like a journal so you could write down all your bitchy mama thoughts and ideas, and just if you want to just bitch, write it down.
I think that's great that you.
You.
I'm so happy you added that in the back, because I tend to write in my books anyway, but this gives you a handy place to do it in an organized way. Yeah, I know.
I remember we were talking to my editor, and I said, that's what I want at the end of the book. She said, really? I said, yes, really. That way, when the moms are reading the book, they could jot their own thoughts and ideas in the back, and it's all there in one book instead of having 2 books or 3 books. It's all there.
It's perfect. You've made it convenient, fun, and smart. Thank you so much, Lyss, for your time.
Thank you for having me.